there's a couple different directions you can go. When you feel super uncertain, some people just make it like a joke. And it's almost like they just abandon trying to work through it and they just make it a joke. I've seen that in the past. I'm sure I've probably done that. It's been a long, long time since I've done that. That's something that some people do.
The place that you have the deepest fear is the place you have the least control and the most uncertainty. And most likely, you're avoiding that area and improving in that area, which would give you control. It's a conundrum that we're all faced with, right? So the more and more you practice in that uncertainty, the more certainty you'll have, ironically.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1851, is there anything more important than these three things? Ooh, what could those three things be? I was journaling today in my Next Level Dreamliner. Again, I'm not over promoting. I'm genuinely so excited to use this every day. If you get sick of hearing me talk about it, I apologize, but I genuinely do love it. But that is nor here nor there. The question for today was, what does success mean to you? What is your relationship with success? And I wrote, success to me is freedom, certainty, and fulfillment. And then I was thinking to myself, certainty. Okay, I've always valued certainty, but why? And what pieces of certainty? And I wrote certainty in myself, certainty in my relationship, certainty in my finances. And I'm willing to bet that everybody out there has a relationship with those things and the amount of certainty that they have. Now, Alan said to me, well, the certainty with yourself, what are you talking about? Physical health and all that? And I said, just you in general. Your certainty in your confidence, your certainty in your character, your certainty in your body, your certainty in your health, your certainty in you holistically, your certainty in the most meaningful relationships you have. Because if you're single and you don't have a partner, then maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your family, whatever. Maybe it's your children, whatever it is. And then certainty financially. Here's the thing. There's a big difference between abundance and certainty. That's why I think there's some people that say, well, I don't really care about money. Do you care that your bills are paid? Because if you care that your bills are paid, you do care about money. It's just maybe you don't care about having a ton of money. And that's very different. So for me, I don't know why that was such a breakthrough, because it kind of makes sense. It's like, yeah, health, wealth, and love. Health, wealth, and love, certainty. That's what the entire freaking podcast and business is built on. But the certainty around those things, I'm willing to bet that the level of progress you feel is directly connected with whether you're trending in the right direction or the wrong direction in those three things. And that would be the thesis for today's episode.
How many days in are you, man? Because I don't feel like I remember that question.
Probably don't worry about it, you know what I mean?
I think I'm ahead of you.
Yeah, of course you are. I'm on how many? I don't know.
We don't have page numbers.
Yeah, we don't have page numbers. I started on the 1st, so technically I'm however many days into the month we are.
So 10?
10 days.
Is it the 10th?
Today's the 9th.
The 9th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of recording this.
I must have answered that question. So the Dreamliner has questions, reflection questions.
Yes.
Each day. And this is one of them that prompted this episode. And so there's a next level lesson as well in the Dreamliner. So let's give
Do you have anything
the next
to add?
level lesson. Yes.
Oh. Do you want me to give you the next level lesson?
Why did you write one?
I write one every effing day, man.
Yeah. Give it.
I wrote pressure releases a bit if you let it, but you have to want to let it go. I think pressure is like misery, where misery loves company. I think pressure loves company too. When you're feeling pressure, you want to bitch about it. Me. I am the you. I am the you in this example. But I notice that when I'm under a ton of pressure, I have to kind of go through a mourning period of just talking about it, getting to the point where I say, it just sucks really bad. And then it starts to dissipate even though the pressure is the same. I don't know what that's about. But that was my next level lesson for the day.
Well, let's connect that to certainty. So when you're under too much pressure, there's a couple ways to relieve it. There's one is you can lower your standards. You can let go of something. So an example of that would be, I'm going to walk tonight instead of go to weight train. or I'm going to cancel that meeting. I can't do it today. Which is, I think, lowering the target. And I think sometimes you have to do that. Let's be real.
Yeah.
What I try to do is I try to level up. Because that can also help the pressure, is just get better. You and I joke and say, in our relationships, whenever there's a challenge, it's pretty much, yep, okay, I'll get better. I was supposed to fix something in the house this past weekend, and it was the tail end of Sunday. I think it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I said, sweetheart, can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
You have your tool
Took
belt
an L
on?
on that one.
You have your tool belt on, your hard hat on, ready to roll, and you just, I just don't have it in me.
No, I had
can't
food in
sleep.
front of me, and it was the first
that's
R&R
it
of the
right
day.
there. Yeah, once
it's
the
the
food's
end.
down, there's no more work
That's it.
getting done.
There's no more going. So certainty. Certainty in self, certainty in finances, certainty in your relationship. That's what you said?
Certainty in you, certainty in relationships, certainty in finances.
Okay. Certainty in you, certainty in relationships, certainty in finances. We do all crave that 100%. The fascinating problem, the challenge with that, is that the only way to get those is to grow. And the only way to grow is through uncertainty. I am so freaking convinced that life is set up in a way that is cyclical, and there's every pro has a con. Duality. From when I was a very young kid learning about the world to now, there's something that always is true, which is some people, everything is in the middle. Drive to 5, everything. People say, well, work smart, not hard. Nope. Anytime it's do one and not the other, nope, not sustainable. Work hard, not smart. Nope. You need both. It's called The Genius of the And. Shout out to Jim Collins. He wrote the best business books, I think. He says the genius of the and is work smart and hard. Share challenging truth and be empathetic. It has to be an and. And so the point of this, you mentioned certainty. We all want certainty that our future is brighter than our past. We all want certainty that we have enough money to pay our bills. We all want certainty that our relationship is sound and growing and flourishing. We all want certainty. However, in order to get certainty, ironically, paradoxically, you need to grow, and in order to grow, you need uncertainty. So what I have tried to do is subject myself to the optimal amount of uncertainty necessary to become certain. AKA, I think true abundance, true choice, true freedom, it comes from skills, it comes from deeper understanding, it comes from being more capable and more competent. So, for example, if you were to take Kevin and I, and you were to say, okay, I'm taking everything. I'm taking away your relationships. It's hypothetical. I'm taking away your relationships. I'm taking away your team. I'm taking away all your clients. I'm taking your freaking clothes. You each only get one outfit, which shouldn't be a big deal considering we wear the same
pretty
thing
much all
over
I
and over
wear
again.
anyway.
I actually have several outfits now, so I can't really say that anymore. I made a joke yesterday during group coaching. I said, I'm hoping to hit puberty at 36. And Kev's like, dude, you can't say that anymore. You got a beard going.
You got a little facial hair coming in.
There's a little small part of me that wants to get rid of it so I can keep making that joke. But I got to evolve. I got to get better. I'm a man, baby. Okay, so take everything from Kevin and I. Take it all. We are left with one pair of clothing. We are in a free country. And we have our minds, and we have our skills, and we have our understanding, and we have each other, and we have the ability to start from scratch and build Next Level University, but this time better, as more intelligent individuals. I believe we would do a significantly better job than we did, because we are so much more capable, we are so much more aware, and we are so much more skillful than we used to be. Now, would we not make mistakes? No. We would still fail forward. And then we could redo this exercise at, 46 instead of 36. The point is, you have to go through massive uncertainty in order to gain certainty within yourself. So the first one that you mentioned, you want certainty within yourself. Certainty outside of self, I think, comes from certainty inside of self in terms of skills, capabilities, and resourcefulness.
I believe that the more certain you are, to your point, within you, the less the uncertainty of the external world affects you. I have a firm belief in that. Do I have anything to prove it? No. Other than that's been my experience, and the more competent and capable, for lack of better phrasing, I get in the external world, the more internally sound I feel. And then when things do hit the fan, because I think letting go of pressure is a skill that is developed over time, and I think letting go of pressure is a skill that is developed as you experience pressure. So as your relationship with pressure shifts, your ability to let go and say, look, we've been here before. This is not the end of the world. This is what we did last time. That type of stuff. What do you got?
Can you talk about, we talk about and share what we're going through and growing through, and we want to bring you on this journey with us. So I know we've been shouting out Group 16 a ton. So Group 16 is full of amazing podcasters. We had our first session yesterday. Unreal. I would say it's a new level. We've never once had a group of all podcasters. Everyone except for one person came, and the other person was working late. But it's definitely a new level, and I don't mean anything against any of the previous groups. What I mean is, this was always a dream of ours.
Yes.
We always intended on eventually coaching a group of podcasters. That had been a dream for at least 2 or 3 years now. And it manifested. It happened sooner than you thought, actually. And you had a moment where you were nervous and excited. You mentioned that right on the session. You said, I'm both excited and nervous. Can you go into the certainty and the uncertainty thing from that frame?
Here's the interesting thing. We talked recently about what did I think goal chasing would be versus what goal chasing actually is. And I thought it would get to the point eventually where everything was just kind of easy and felt under control. When in reality, I think there's just different seasons. So this was a time for me where I was thinking, oh, this reminds me of the first couple of groups of group coaching where I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go. I feel very confident in you, me, and Amy. I know we can deliver, but I don't know where this is going to go. This could go wrong, where the other ones, the worst it's going to go is the worst we are capable of speaking and effectively communicating. This one's different because I don't really know where we're going to go, so I don't really know how wrong it could go. I just wanted to add that. Can you reframe the question?
We were talking about how the more capable you become and the more certain you are when external certainties are... when externally there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yes. Hopefully.
I think last night was a lot of external uncertainty for you. And for me as well. And I was working through that. Particularly the social aspect for me. Getting to know new people, trying not to come off as a arrogant person. Which I think we did a really good job. So there was a lot of external uncertainty. However, the way we handled that external uncertainty, I think, was better than we've ever done, which makes sense because we're more mature than we've ever been. Can you go into that and how you felt and how you overcame it and how it went?
Yeah, I was very nervous because I am the podcast guy, and I've never been behind the scenes with a group of podcasters like that, really. I mean, I've been on 900 other podcasts, and at this point, I've done 399 podcast breakthrough sessions. So I've been on 399 times with someone saying,
"Man, who knows his numbers?"
I track them every day. What do you believe is the most valuable use of our time together today? And that's going to dictate what this call is, right? So I've talked to a lot of podcasters, but never 11 at once about podcasting, where I'm supposed to be the guy who knows what he's talking about. So there was a big piece of, I think it was probably the very small feeling of imposter syndrome, but very, very, very small. Not almost immeasurable, just very, 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 very small. And the external pressure of I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to look like I don't know my stuff. I know most of the people in the group. I've been talking to them behind the scenes for a long time, months, maybe a year in some cases. So I don't want somebody to join group coaching and it be different than they expected. And I don't want them to see me differently than they expected.
Well, you do want it to be differently than they expected. You want,
it
to be better than they expected.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's fair. That's a good reframe. I don't want it to be worse than they expected, ever. I don't want anything to be ever be worse than somebody expected. So that's a big piece of it. I was just going to say, this is a thing that I've noticed before. When there's a couple different directions you can go. When you feel super uncertain, some people just make it like a joke. And it's almost like they just abandon trying to work through it and they just make it a joke. I've seen that in the past. I'm sure I've probably done that. It's been a long, long time since I've done that. That's something that some people do.
What did we do?
I think we reverted to training. And our training is, we've done this a lot of times. I think that's a big piece of it. This is the other thing that's helped me a ton. Everything is practice. Everything is a practice. That's how I think of it now. This episode, while it is the most important episode I am currently doing, in the catalog,
only episode you're currently doing.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
In the catalog of everything that we've done, tomorrow's another opportunity. This is literally just practice. I used to treat everything like it was the Super Bowl. And in the U.S., the Super Bowl is the biggest football game of the year. That's what everybody's aspiring to. I think it's the most watched television thing year over year. It is the thing that everybody's trying to do, and they're trying to get there and trying to win. I used to treat everything like that. From a preparation standpoint, good. From an emotional, energetic pressure standpoint, not sustainable.
Yeah. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes.
It's
almost from an effort perspective and preparation, you need to, and there's duality again.
Right.
From a preparation and effort standpoint, you need to treat it like the Super Bowl. However, from a external pressure and uncertainty and not getting into flow and being in the moment and trying to be perfect, you can't. That's why the Drive to 5 is everything. You can't overswing on either end. You can't some people swing back and go, doesn't matter anyway. Well, that's not true. This episode does matter. Versus this is the episode. This has to be perfect. Do not say That's too much. And so everything is that, man. It's so freaking annoying, to be honest.
Well,
because that swings. It's a sliding scale, as you've mentioned many times. What used to be outside our comfort zone isn't anymore, and now. That's one thing I want to make clear too. The more you gain certainty, the more you level up, the more opportunities you get to gain uncertainty.
It's the internal, external domino effect. You work on your internal stuff, you get external opportunities. Those external opportunities trigger new internal struggles. You overcome those, and it becomes this rinse and repeat thing forever. But that's kind of the thought is, I'm way less nervous than I've ever been. Even my most nervous now is way less nervous than it used to be. But this was a friendly reminder of, hey, Kev, you guys are in a groove and you've done a similar direction with group coaching for the last 4 years. This one's completely different. You don't know anything you're about to do. It was a gentle reminder. It wasn't like it wasn't jarring like it used to be. And there wasn't self-doubt of this is going to go horribly wrong.
How did you used to handle it way back?
Grit my bite down and just show up and hope for the best. And just try to do a good job.
What was this time?
We got this. Yeah, we got this. It's different. But I think that's confidence. Not I'm the man and I have nothing to prove. That's not true. I have everything to prove to everybody who signed up for
That
group
is
coaching.
an overswing.
Always.
Yeah.
I think that's always an overswing.
That's always an overswing. Yeah, I've got nothing to prove. Just
because
be
you
yourself.
do.
You do have something to prove.
You just invested in this. I have something to prove.
These people are invested, and they're showing up, and they could be anywhere else in the world right now. and they chose us. Yeah. So, but if you treat it like the Super Bowl, you're in trouble in the pressure piece. But yeah, that's why it's so challenging. And so to bring it back to the certainty piece, the more you grow, the more certain you'll become. However, the more you'll climb a mountain of uncertainty. The more opportunity, I mean, even us when we first started, so the theme for yesterday's session was grow yourself, grow your podcast, grow your business. And we took everyone through our journey. Back in 2017, it was character over everything, grow yourself. And then it was grow your podcast and get to know the listeners and community and build Next Level Nation and all this stuff. And then it was, holy crap, we need a real business here. We have a team. We have payroll. This is the real deal. And as you grow and evolve, the uncertainty around it externally is more.
Yeah. And
you can only grow to the extent. I used to wonder what this quote, the last thing I'll say. Jim Rohn, old personal development speaker, he R.I.P. I enjoy a lot of the concepts that he taught. I thought they were very powerful. The sum average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, that was Jim. As if I know the guy. That was my man, Jim. Although I've listened to his speech enough times to where I think we're friends energetically. But he said you don't achieve your goals, you grow into them. Mm. And I think you can achieve your goals, but you better grow into them quick if you want to keep them. And I do believe that to be true. I remember my first fitness show. I was so freaking nervous, but I was trying to pretend that I wasn't. And I don't think I was any more or less nervous than other people. And I do think that it depends on what you're actually afraid of. For me, I think I'm more afraid of shining in some regards than I am of failing. I don't feel the same as you about I don't think we're good enough. I was more concerned that people there weren't going to like us. And I was more afraid they weren't going to like me. I joked. I said, if you're going to villainize anyone, just make sure it's Kev. And that helped me. I think that was fun. But ultimately, I think it's more that of, especially the men in the room. I'm afraid the men in the room aren't going to like me. Mm. And I think they did. I thought it was really good. And so I'm grateful for that. But I also had to prevent myself from egoing up. I wanted to stay centered and vulnerable and honest and sincere and authentic. And I think we did a good job. So
I'm also afraid of that. Very rarely I'm not afraid that women in a room won't like me. I'm afraid men won't, because that's my wound.
I feel like that's probably a wound we both share. And in my honest opinion, again, we're bringing you on this journey. I think if we don't overcome that, we'll never actually achieve our dreams.
I would agree. Unfortunately, I would agree.
I've been trying for years.
Unfortunately, here, this is the thing I would end with. This would kind of be my wrap up. Okay, when it comes to you, relationships, and finances, where do you feel like you have the most control? I'm willing to bet you could probably handle the most amount of uncertainty there. When it comes to me, I'm not really. I feel like if you put me in a room with someone, I'll be fine. I can hold a conversation. It's gonna be fine. I'm not really worried about meeting new people. I feel like I'm in very good control of my body. I'm not really worried about that. My physical body, my mental body, my emotional body, my spiritual body. I feel like I'm in really good control of that. The finance one has always been the one that I didn't necessarily have my finger on. You heard when I told my story, I was never, and again, you'll see where I'm going with this. I was never overweight. I was never made fun of for that. It was never, I can't figure out how to get in shape. I've always been in really good shape. That's not a wound. I'm not wounded by that at all. I feel like I have so much control in that.
Yeah.
My relationship is wonderful. I have zero doubts and zero uncertainty. I'm not worried about that at all. Zero. So I can talk about it on this podcast, right? The finance one is the one that's hardest because it requires more than just me and one other person. It requires so many other things, so many moving pieces, and that's one of my deepest core wounds. So you can see how the one that maybe you feel the weakest in, maybe the one that you have the least control in, you almost need extraordinary certainty. And the one that you feel in control in, it's almost like, well, I know I could change this if I wanted to. I know I could lose weight if I wanted to right now. I just don't want to. I'm not worried about that. Very rarely am I ever going to feel offended by somebody saying, hey, Kev, you don't look great right now. I just have a lot of certainty in that, right? Yeah. So that might be something. Again, that might be something to explore for you, whether you're watching or listening.
Yeah, it was great. End on this. My least certain place is socially. I don't feel like I have any certainty that I know I can communicate effectively. I know I can get you to think differently. I know I can help you reach your potential. I don't feel certain at all I can get anyone to like me. I don't feel certain at all on that. At least while being fully me. And so I think that's big. It's really, really big. Your deepest fear is usually where you have the least control. And maybe that you had the least control in the past. I know a lot of women, feel like they've been horribly mistreated in sexual abuse, things like least control, biggest fear. We talked about probabilities and rationality, and some of the team members reached out and thought that was really funny when I spoke to the head of our production team earlier today, and she said it was hilarious when Kevin was like, I don't care. Doesn't help. With the
doesn't
plane.
help.
Yeah, it doesn't help. But you just have so much uncertainty, even though that's perception of uncertainty. So the place that you have the deepest fear is the place you have the least control and the most uncertainty. And most likely you're avoiding that area and improving in that area, which would give you control. It's a conundrum that we're all faced with, right? So the more and more you practice in that uncertainty, the more certainty you'll have, ironically.
It's a very weird thing. And this is last thing. This is why when people say it shouldn't be hard or you shouldn't have to go through resistance, now I have a belief that I think a lot of those people just have convinced themselves they like it. So they don't think of it as resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I could say, well, no, I've never been scared of group coaching. I like that. It doesn't mean it's not scary. Jumping out of a plane with a parachute is probably pretty scary, but once you start liking it, it's just becomes normal for you. So I think that's just
therapy.
Yeah, I think it's just a perception versus behavior thing. When you change your perception of it, after you do it long enough, after you do your behavior long enough.
Well, you were probably scared the first time you were in the gym, and now you're not scared at all.
I think I was naive the first time I was in the gym, so I don't think I was scared at all. I was a 16-year-old. I didn't know anything. I thought I was the man. And I wasn't. Hey, I wasn't the man at 16. Definitely not. Still not the man. Still not the man today. I'm trying. Will I ever be the man? Who knows? Maybe. You think I'll ever be the man?
In many ways, I think you are the man.
You got very quiet when I started going down that pattern, so I was thinking to myself.
Because I don't know if we have time for me to talk about how you're the man in most things, in many things, and then you're out here jeffing.
Well, we could leave those off. I think I didn't ask where I was jeffing. I asked where I was the man. Leave that for behind the scenes.
You can't leave those off.
Damn.
Because then they get fucking worse. Man.
Out here dropping F-bombs.
I got to at least one every week.
Okay. One a week. So you've used up, it's Thursday, and you've used it up. So I do not expect to hear another one from you this week. All right, Next Level Nation, if you are looking for a group of like-minded individuals, if you really, really, really want to experience growth in a safe environment, Next Level Nation is the place to do it. I don't want you to get to the end of the year. I don't want you to get to the beginning of next year, the middle of next year, and say, I really wish I had a group, a community of people that were into the same things I'm into. Next Level Nation is the place. Link will be in the show notes. Let's do it.
The only rule in that group is you can't be disrespectful. No bullies allowed. Everything else, be yourself, practice courage, and also no self-promotion as well. But other than that, share away. We appreciate you. Also, if you have not yet written a review, we get emailed when you do. Please write a review. Let us know what you think. Let us know how we can improve, and we really appreciate it.
Unless you hate it, and then you can email Alan personally. Yeah. Do not CC me. I don't need to see it. You can email Alan.
And don't leave a review if you hate it.
Yeah, don't leave a review. Email us privately.
Privately,
We handle it behind the scenes. Yeah. But if you have found value in the show...
Go right to Kevin's inbox.
Well, whatever. I get weird emails all the time. Somebody asked me... what did I get yesterday? Somebody messaged me and said, hey, we're only working with 20 car detailers, so make sure you get your name on the list. I don't know how you got that messed up. I don't know why I'm on your email list, but that ain't it. the number one way that podcasts get found and podcasts grow is word of mouth. So if this show is doing anything in the positive realm for you, please share it with a friend too. I know maybe self-improvement isn't cool to everyone, but if you know that person, if you have that person in mind who is super into growth, they're into the stuff that we talk about, it would mean the world if you would share it, because that's what this whole thing is about, right? That's why we started this, to help as many people as humanly possible. And you would be helping that person, and you'd be helping us. So it would be a win-win. So we would appreciate that very much. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep reaching your potential. Next Level Nation.